Okay? You can't just use grammar. You can't just guess randomly.
You have to understand the plot. You have to know who has an alibi, who has a motive.
You have to understand the whole plot. You have to have a theory about who the killer is. You have to understand the detective's unique personality. You have to understand the victim's backstory. So the simple act of predicting the next word randomly forces you to build an internal, coherent mental model of the entire world of the novel. Lee argues that these AI models, by training on the entire internet, all of Wikipedia, all of the books, all of the scientific papers, are essentially forced to build a statistical model of the world's logic just to get better at their one simple task, predicting the next word.
That is the aha moment for a lot of people. It's not magic. It's just math. It's just probability. But when the probability gets accurate enough and the model gets big enough, predicting the next word starts to look a lot like reasoning.
It's an emergent property of scale. But, and this is the big but of the episode, we cannot treat it like it's a sentient being. We can't treat it like magic. That's why Lee's project is called Understanding AI. The source emphasizes over and over that we need to demystify the black box.
The black box being this idea that, data goes in, some unknowable magic happens inside, and then a perfect answer comes out and nobody really knows why.
We have to break that open. And Lee talks about high-dimensional vector spaces. Now, don't tune out. Stay with us. This is actually a beautiful concept.
Okay, let's unpack it. What is a vector space, layman's terms?
Think of a simple map. A map of your city is a 2D space. You have an x-axis, like east-west, and a y-axis, north-south. You can find your house, and you can find the grocery store. The distance and direction between them means something in the real world.
Okay, got it.
Now imagine a map with, say, 1,500 dimensions, or 10,000 dimensions, not just north-south and east-west, but thousands of different conceptual directions. The AI takes a word, say the word king, and it turns it into a list of numbers, a set of coordinates in that massive multidimensional map.
So the word king lives at a specific address in this giant world of math.
Exactly. And the word queen lives at a different address, and the word man is at another, and woman is at another. And here is the truly incredible part. The mathematical path to get from the coordinates for king to the coordinates for queen is the very same path, the same direction and distance as the path to get from man to woman.
Whoa. So the AI understands the concept of gender not because we taught it biology, but because the geometry of the words lines up that way in the data.
Exactly. It learns relationships as geometry.
Yeah.
It learns that king minus man plus woman equals queen. It's just vector arithmetic. That is what is happening inside the black box. It's not a wizard conjuring spells. It's a massive, multidimensional map of meaning.
Okay, so why does knowing this matter for the average person? Why does the listener need to know about vectors?
Because if you know it's a map of probability, you treat it differently than if you think it's an oracle. You realize it can get things wrong. It can hallucinate.
And hallucinations make perfect sense in this context. It's just predicting a path on the map that looks right, that is statistically plausible, even if it leads to a place that doesn't exist in reality.
Precisely. It's generating the most plausible sounding nonsense. If you think it's a truth machine, you will be led astray, maybe dangerously so. But if you know it's a plausibility engine, a machine that's just trying to predict the most likely next step on the map, you check its work, you verify its claims, you maintain your agency.
Because if you don't know that, you're going to trust it blindly. And that is where the danger lies.
Exactly. That's where the tsunami sweeps you away. Ignorance is no longer an option. Lee's work, combining that Princeton CS rigor with the clarity of a journalist at Vox, is trying to give us the tools to look inside the box. He's saying, look, this isn't a soul, it's a matrix of weights and biases. Here's how it works. And when you understand that, the fear diminishes and the utility increases.
It goes back to that agency. I mean, if I know roughly how my car engine works, I know what to do when it makes a funny noise. I know if it's serious. If I don't, I'm just stranded on the side of the road, helpless.
Perfect analogy. We are all being handed the keys to these high-performance AI vehicles now. You don't need to be a certified mechanic, but you absolutely need to know the difference between the gas pedal and the brake, and you need to know what it means when the check engine light comes on.
So we've got the mechanics, we've got the symbiosis, but there's still so much noise out there, an absolute flood of it. Let's talk about navigating that noise. The sources mention separating AI hope from AI hype.
This is the final and perhaps most practical skill we all need to develop. Because yes, AI is dominant, but that doesn't mean every AI startup with a fancy website is going to change the world. There is still a ton of snake oil out there.
So how do we spot the difference? Based on our sources, what is the litmus test for hype versus real hope?
I think the litmus test goes back to that concept of utility versus buzz that we started with. Hype looks like the NFT, craves lots of excitement, a huge amount of FOMO or fear of missing out, but very little explanation of the practical why. Why does this make my life better?
It's all about speculation and future promises.
Right. Hope, in the context of our sources, looks like symbiotic intelligence. It's grounded in a real-world problem.
Can you give me a concrete example?
Sure. Hype is a press release that says, "Our revolutionary AI will solve world hunger by next Tuesday." Hype promises a magic wand that fixes a complex human problem without any actual human involvement.
And
Hope is a company that says, "We've developed an AI tool that helps agricultural researchers analyze satellite data of crop fields 10,000 times faster, which might lead to the development of better drought-resistant seeds." You see the difference?
Absolutely. One is a magic wand, the other is a power tool.
Precisely. The hope is grounded in the mechanics we just discussed. It's grounded in the reality of prediction engines improving and accelerating human workflows. The hype usually ignores the mechanics completely and just promises miracles from the black box.
And this ties back to the show title again, Urgent Futures. We have the urgency, which is the tsunami, but we also need agency.
That is the core message I took away from analyzing all of these sources. The future is urgent. It's happening to us right now, whether we're ready or not, but we have agency. We have the power to choose how we interact with this tsunami.
We aren't just passive victims of the wave waiting on the beach.
No. By understanding the tech, by demanding that we treat it as a symbiotic partner rather than an inscrutable replacement, and by learning to distinguish the useful tools from the overhyped toys, we reclaim our agency. We get a hand on the steering wheel of the future.
I love that. It puts the ball back in our court. It's not just something happening to us.
It's not. It's a challenge. It's a tool. It's an invitation. But it requires work from our side.
Okay, let's do a quick recap because we have covered a lot of ground here, a lot of big ideas. We started with the ubiquity of A and I.
And we established that this isn't like the metaverse or NFTs. It has achieved true market dominance. It's here to stay. It is the new infrastructure, the new electricity.
We then talked about the tsunami, that feeling of the sheer scale of the change, and the vital need to move from a place of fear to one of symbiosis. The goal is humans plus machines, the Centaur model.
Then we dove into the mechanics, how AI fundamentally changes the science of prediction, the mind-bending scaling hypothesis, and why relying on Timothy B. Lee's understanding AI approach is so crucial for demystifying that black box.
Right. You have to know it's a map of meaning, not a magic spell.
Exactly.
And finally, we talked about navigating the noise. How to tell the difference between the AI hype, the miracle cures, and the AI hope, the practical tools that can actually enhance our lives and our work.
It's a comprehensive roadmap, really, for anyone feeling overwhelmed by the speed and the scale of all this change.
So here is the big question to leave you with. We always like to leave you with something to chew on, something to take away.
And it's a big one. We've talked about the tsunami. The sources say it's not coming. It's already here. The water is already rising around our ankles. So the question isn't how do we stop the wave? You can't stop a tsunami. The question is how do you learn to swim within it?
That's a scary but also kind of exciting question.
And to take it a step further, to make it really personal for you listening, are you treating AI as a replacement? As a threat that you are secretly hoping will fail so things can just go back to normal? Or are you actively, right now, building your own symbiotic intelligence? Are you figuring out how to be the human in the Centaur team? Are you doing the work to ensure that you personally pass that ultimate test?
Because the test is happening whether we studied for it or not.
Exactly. The exam has already started.
That is a lot to think about. I think I'm going to go and look at that map of meaning again.
Just don't get lost in the dimensions.
Thanks for listening to The Deep Dive. We'll catch you in the future, the urgent one.